Hi, this is 50 Shades of Stefanya, where I talk about anything and everything, under the sun, under the shade, wherever, along with my guests. I hope you join me. Hello, and welcome again to 50 Shades of Stefanya. And today's topic is about erotic romance writing. Yeah, those steamy and sensual romance novels where at any given page you can most likely read a paragraph about heaving breasts or throbbing. Well, you get the idea. Well, erotic romance has been a popular genre for decades, but what exactly is erotic romance? Erotic romance is a subgenre of romance that focuses on explicit sexual content and relationships. And the characters in erotic romance novels are often exploring their sexuality and desire, and the plot revolves around their sexual attraction to one another. Now, while the genre has its critics, it remains popular among readers who enjoy the steamy and often complex relationships portrayed in these novels. However, writing an effective erotic romance novel is not as easy as it sounds. And today we have with us a very special guest who knows all about heaving and throbbing. Please welcome Miss Bobette Wright. She is the co-editor at TWB Press and romance writer. Well, Bobette, thank you so much for joining us today.
You're welcome. Thank you for inviting me.
I know, just for the laughter, explanation behind the laughter for our viewers, we had a little bit of a technical difficulty and we had to kind of switch to another method of recording this. So welcome and thank you for your patience, Bobette. Glad to.
Not a problem.
Glad to have you with us. Hey, so before we get going, talking about romance writing, can you tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got started in writing?
I know. I can't talk about myself. I have a hard time talking about myself all the time. I don't know what you want to know.
Well,
I'm a mother.
How did you get started in writing, in romance writing? What inspired you? I mean, why pick that particular genre?
Because it was what I read. You know, when they make you read in high school and it's like, you don't want to read those books. And I just didn't have a thing for reading. And then I read a romance novel. Kathleen Woodward's is my gateway.
That was mine first as well.
Yeah.
The
Love
Rose?
the Flower.
Did you read The Rose?
Rose in Winter?
Yes. Oh my gosh.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, that got me hooked too.
And I loved the story. I went from Harlequin. I would read Harlequin. And then I read my first novel. Well, that was a step up. I call Harlequin's kindergarten to the middle school of novels because it had more in it. It had more meat. You know, reading a Harlequin's like watching a Lifetime movie or a Hallmark movie. You know, it's cute, but got into the novels and I absolutely loved them. I read and I read and I stood at my stove at home. The kids down there crying for food, stirring the pot, reading, and one book in one hand. I read at stoplights. I read everywhere, always. And so I thought, I could do this. You know, I actually took a writing course in night school. And it gave me some stuff, you know, I got my character sheet from there. And it told me about a lot of stuff, but it didn't tell me I had to know grammar and punctuation and
All the fun stuff.
dangling participles. What is that? You know? So still don't know it, but
I think you do.
So anyways, I thought, well, I could do this, you know? So yeah, and I've always got stories going on in my head, you know, and I thought, well, I'll just get some down on paper. And in fact, before this, I was actually working on the one I'm working on now. I was going through it. And so yeah, that's what it was.
So what is it about?
I could write it.
So what is it about erotic romance genre that interests you? I mean, why erotic romance versus, let's say, an adventure or a drama?
because I don't know, it was just more interesting. You've got the whole romance part, and that I'm trying to, I read thrillers. I do read thrillers, and I've got to hand it to those people because I can't choreograph anything. And it takes a lot of thinking. It takes, I love gotchas. I love, oh, what do you want to call them? Blind sides and that. And I love reading a book and looking at it and going, oh my God, I did not see that coming. I don't know if I'd know how to write it. So um, I just stuck with romance because that's what I knew. And then uh, started the erotica and thought, well, those are selling. So, yeah, I hope they're selling by the time I finish.
Well, so it sounds like it's kind of in one sense it's a combination of an interest for you as well as a good marketing aspect, because erotic romance is so popular. So that would be a good uh, train to hop onto.
Yes. Yeah.
Huh. Okay.
Yep.
Good. All right. Well, what about when you write, how do you how do you create believable and relatable characters? How does a writer achieve that?
Very carefully. Yeah, you got to get to know your character. And I used to I would listen to people going, "Oh, well, that character wouldn't do that, and that character." And I think, how do you know it's not your character? But when you're reading and you get to know somebody, you know what they'd do and what they wouldn't do. So you've got to actually get to know them, become friends with them. And what I did with this last one was I wrote down, I started typing in an interview. I asked her questions and then answered them. And just off the top of my head, what would she say? So, so yeah, I did an interview with her, one of my characters, and get to know her a little bit. But making them believable, you have to make them not do things that people don't like.
What do you
I am a
mean?
very um like, say your hero, say he does something and it's like he's an ass. It's like nobody wants to read that. Nobody's going to like him. He's got flaws. He's got to have flaws, but they've got to be believable flaws, and you've got to be able to overcome it. He can't just go out there willy-nilly just doing stupid stuff. And if the heroine, if she, I mean, if PMSing, I don't know, if she decides to become a bitch, everyone's going to say dump her. Don't hang in there. So yeah, you've got to make that. I read for the characters. I get to know characters, and anything else that happens in the book is, I read around that and everything, but I want to know what the characters are doing.
Well, that makes sense, but some may say that that erotic
What?
romance
What?
is just about a bunch of sex scenes thrown in for the sake of it. What are your thoughts about that?
you know they need this, if they come across something like that, it was probably in Playboy, because that is not true. I mean, some of the best, let's just take a romance. The best ones are where you can get halfway through the book and nothing's happened yet. You've got the anticipation. You've got the oh, I'm at a loss for the words now, the tension, the sexual tension. And when it does get up to that point, it's satisfying. Erotica, have more liberties in that with body parts, what you can call them, what you can do, and everything than in romance, but you don't have to go crazy with it. It's got to have a meaning. It has to have a meaning. It has to have a story. And yeah, they say these X-rated movies, they have stories. Nah, they really kind of don't. I mean, in my opinion, it's like
Got to have the music, though.
Yeah.
Boom,
Oh
chaka, chaka,
God.
chaka, boom, chaka, chaka,
Yep,
chaka, boom.
I know. Yeah. And the mustache.
Of course, I never watch that stuff, so I don't know.
Yeah, I
I'm
don't
just
either. Somebody told me that. I
well,
heard.
well, that's
But
interesting.
you've got to have something that's going to bring you
Mhm.
in, be a story,
Okay.
and something else you can follow. I was listening to a series. It's like, oh, this is the next 50. If you miss the 50 Shades, read this one. Well, I'm listening to it, and I listen to it on trips and everything, and I'm sitting there, and the story is great, and it's kind of like a thriller. It's like not a whodunit thing, but it's got this great story, and it came to the sex parts, and I'm like sitting there going, fast forward, fast forward, fast forward to get to the whole meat of the story.
Oh, because it
So
just wasn't that interesting, or
it wasn't.
mm,
It wasn't. It did nothing. I'll tell you what. When I did read, this was reading, not watching, reading 50 Shades. That was the best few months of my husband's life. Now, if it can do that to you, it's right.
that's
It's
funny.
right.
That's just too funny. Well, so it sounds like it's a fine balancing act
It
between
is.
developing the characters, getting the plot, adding the spice, the heaving and the throbbing,
Yep.
spices.
Yeah. No, no, it's just the word heave, the throbbing. And I mean, sure, I mean, all these stories, the minute the pants get unzipped, it comes out. And is that real life, really?
Well, I
But
guess
it's
it
fun.
depends.
It depends. But I mean, it's what you want. It's some place
Sure.
to, escape to.
So with
But
some of your authors that because I know you are the one that reads all of the romance and erotic romance submissions to TWB Press. So when you receive some of these stories, can you share some funny story? I mean, without giving the author's name or anything like that, or the name of the book, can you share some funny stories of some really strange submissions that maybe made you go, huh?
really, that happened? God, not off the top of my head. And I was trying to think earlier while I was going through all this. Um, um,
What about that couple? I remember you told me there was a couple that drank and they would drink vodka or something and then they would
Pineapple vodka.
pineapple? Oh yes, it was
Pineapple vodka.
pineapple. And yeah, so tell me a little bit about that couple because it sounded like that was a real hoot.
Well, yeah, I mean, and they cranked out the stories. They would sit and they would do their shots, and everything, and they'd be both of them sitting there at the table and they're writing, and writing their erotica, and then they'd go back and go over it. But it's your inhibitions. If you want to write that, and you you just want to let go of your inhibitions, because there's been some authors that have gone, oh, I can't put that in there because my family's going to read it.
Yeah.
Well, you can't, you just got to write, because anybody's going to pick up your book,
Or pick
and
pick
they
a
don't want
different
people.
name, a pseudonym. Nom de
Exactly.
plume. Nom de plume.
The bloom, the flower, oh, what could be a first name, and then the last name could be deflowered, you know
That's funny.
flowers. um they don't want people to know that this stuff is running around in their heads, and so they just hold back. Well, that's
Wow.
not going to give you a really good story.
Yeah, no, I can understand that. I can understand that. So with all of this eroticism, what is how do authors navigate the line between eroticism and consent? Because we have the no, yes, no, yes. And so how do we navigate, that fine line between wanting to be just consumed versus consent?
Well, you need consent, right? I
Yes,
mean,
one would
you,
think.
but when you're writing it, the reader has got to know that this is okay. You can't have somebody just going around, picking up women. I mean, that's a Criminal Minds episode, right? And having sex and everything and going from one person to the other. Um, the consent, you have them do the contracts. That's consent, and they've got their safe words. And um, I don't know if I'm answering that, but my big thing is I don't like reading where the hero and the heroine have other people.
Oh,
It's
oh
got to be
yeah, on something on the side.
something on the
Yeah,
side.
nah,
Or,
I agree.
I don't share well, so I don't want, my characters to have
Sure,
to.
makes sense.
And the heroine is the only one that the hero cares about and that he's going to have sex with and or do the bondage with or do the if that's going to be in there.
Okay,
So
so the
yes,
consent is implied because you're
the
developing the relationship.
yeah,
Okay, okay.
yeah.
Let's see.
That
And
was
as
probably a roundabout way to get there, but
yeah, no, that makes perfect sense. That makes perfect sense because I mean, I'm sure, the character, the characters want to be seduced. It's all
yes,
part of the courtship.
it is. And the thing that is before you get to all of that eroticism or, the play and stuff, you got to work it up. You've got to make the reader want them to be together.
Hmm.
I mean, if it's right on the first page, I mean,
Yeah,
it's just two people.
yeah.
It's just two people. And so they need to be invested in it, like you said. And that so yeah, it's got to be a little farther in, sure they'll pick up a book and go, oh, an erotic romance. Well, where is it? We're building up to it.
Well, I don't know. I must have a really good knack because I can open up a romance novel and boom, we'll immediately we'll talk about heaving breasts and throbbing whatevers, and and I'll flip another
Whatever.
page and there's like, and then she cried out, oh, I mean, I guess I'm just lucky. I don't know.
You're lucky. You know where to open a book at.
Maybe. Yeah, I wouldn't be on the first page or whatever. So
No, no.
hey, so because you do review so many books and stuff, and let's say that there's an aspiring romance writer out there, what type of advice would you give to an aspiring romance writer who's really interested in writing a good story and submitting it for publication?
Um, just know what you want and do the research. Let's see, I have here, uh, did I have 2 pages? Oh, yes, advice to people. Um, Study it and make sure you know the difference between sex and erotica.
What is the
Sex is,
difference?
well, to me, sex is sex, and erotica is you feel it. You feel it while you're reading. You feel it in your body. You know what I mean? You
It,
want
are
that. You desire that.
Are you saying it's more of a description as far as like, okay, so let's say sex. Okay, so uh, Jane and John Doe hopped into the bed and messed around or screwed like rabbits. Okay, that would be the sex
That would be
um,
the
versus John carefully unbuttoned her blouse with each button, and with each button, as he unbuttoned each button, her body trembled in anticipation. So that's the other side.
exactly
Okay.
exactly. Uh, the erotica is more visceral, I think, than just the sex. Because if you just say that they had sex, everybody knows
Like,
what that is.
yeah. But you want
But
to see what
yeah,
kind. What did they
you want to
do?
go along for the ride.
Yeah, maybe.
And
So,
you've got to develop your characters
uh-huh.
and go there. And like I said, your inhibitions and everything. Maybe a couple of shots will help you. If it's going to be what it takes, sit there, vodka,
Yeah,
tequila, whatever, and then you can just kind of start going.
that sounds like fun. It sounds like fun. And as far as character development or anything like that, I mean, again, what do you recommend? I mean, does somebody have to go to years and years of school to be able to write a novel, or what is your suggestion?
I don't think so. I don't think so. I was listening to Patterson, and he was saying everybody can write. You just got to do it, right? And you don't have to years and years. I mean, if you get an editor, you don't have to worry about grammar either.
That's true. And also
they'll,
Grammarly, you can use the
they'll do that for you. Yeah, that's
software
true.
Grammarly, and that will help run through your editing issues. Oh wait,
Yep.
we'll
Yep.
put Terry out of business. We don't want that.
Oh, that's true. That's true. We can't have that.
Yeah.
Yeah. But but oh, what were we talking about here? Um, Developing your characters.
Mhm.
Is it? And they've character your story has got to your character has to grow. If your character hasn't grown, then something's wrong, and the readers they're going, and there's no happy ending, or there's no
Yeah.
happy ending on the first one before you get to the second book, and so it's like I said, get to know your characters,
Okay.
and it's all an imagination.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's got to pan out. I mean, want someone going, you really can't have sex on a motorcycle while it's going down the road. I mean,
No.
yeah, yeah. I mean, that's great imagination, but it doesn't work. And things have got to work.
Yeah,
It's got to be real.
that's true. That's true.
So, but yeah, I think anybody can. If you can read it, you can write it. I
Okay.
believe that.
So basically just really get to know the genre that
It's
you want to write, and then
Mhm.
maybe find a favorite author that you enjoy, and maybe start studying the styling. And I mean, not copy the styling, but starting, like find a flow that you really like, and then just start writing, and then your own voice will come out with that.
It will. And the thing is we too many times what we do as we're writing, and then we look at it and go, oh, that's not right. And then we write a little more. And just, they say, put it down on the paper, then go back.
Yeah.
Whatever. If it's right or wrong, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Just put it out on the paper. And then you just like figure it out,
Mhm.
through the editing.
It's
So
true. Well, so in summary, it sounds like erotic romance is pretty much a very complex and kind of a nuanced genre that requires a careful balance of character development, plot, dialogue, and some explicit sexual content. And when it's done well, it could be highly satisfying and emotionally resonant for all of the readers.
yes, yes.
Yeah, that sounds good. Well, but wait, I understand.
Huh? What?
That in addition to romance writing, you have a business where you sell sensual marital aids. Can you tell us a little bit about that and how you got into that? Oh,
I
this is the
do.
fun part.
I don't know. I wanted to do something after retirement. And I've tried other things, and that. But then after my thing with 50 Shades and everything, and I'm like, you know what? They've got to be you got to be able to buy this online. You got to be somebody holds parties. There's got to be a company that holds parties. You go to their house and show these women what you got and how to use it and everything. And it's so much more personal. And the only people that know what they're buying is their best friends that they bring, they invite and that. But that would be fun. I could go out every night, talk to women about sex, at a party, have fun, and so I did. And the thing of it is, yeah, we have toys in that. And here's what I was wanting to do is this is our new book. And
Okay.
so
What's the name? What is the name of the company?
Bedroom Candy, Kandi.
Bedroom Candy, Kandi. Okay.
Candy Burris from Real Housewives in Atlanta.
Oh,
She came up with it. And it's designed by a woman. It's sold, by a woman. And she knows just what fits, what doesn't, and it's a little more personal. And it's women's wellness. We have so much stuff. And I did a show the other night, and I was talking to the women about the fact that the toys, if people get so threatened by them, men get threatened. Oh, well, I don't need that. She doesn't need that.
She's going to replace me with this. Oh,
yeah.
So no,
It's
we
like
still
this-
need somebody to open up our jars. Okay. Just kidding, guys. Really.
No, she's not.
I'll never tell.
Yeah. It's women's wellness program. I mean, we've got the bath salts, the bath stuff. We've got makeup. We've got hair care. It's just all about the women's wellness, and the toys come under that because you've got to take care of your body. And if your husband's up, for it, do it together. Because yeah, I'm thinking that you can kind of get an orgasm a little deeper than what you get with him. It's I could go way into it, but
we'll save that. We'll save that for the Patreon site video. And actually, if anybody is interested in watch or listening to a more detailed episode of this, we are going to continue this, but at a more I don't know, explicit, maybe, I guess that's the word, explicit level, because Bobette's going to tell us some more about some really cool items that are really some favorites in her parties that she does. And so, but we don't want to be like showing those things around. And this one,
this is very discreet.
What is that?
Make Me Over. It's a compact.
Yeah. Okay. And what is it?
Your hand
is this allowed? Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
And what is it?
It's a massager.
Oh, okay.
You can use it on your, here, let me take off my glasses. You can use it on your neck. Wink, wink.
So it vibrates?
It does.
Oh, okay. So it's a nice massager.
It is. It's very indiscreet.
Okay, I'm hearing it.
Right?
Yeah. No, I can't hear it now.
Oh,
put it on.
Yes. Oh,
nice.
Yes.
Nice. Very good. It's almost like that episode about the some guy was going through this gal's purse when she was standing there, and she's like, no, and he grabs his stuff out, and out flops this lipstick, and he's like, what's that? And then I guess as it flopped on the table, it started to vibrate. And he's like, what the hell? And she's like, oh, stay away from that. So yes. So that is
we have some that you can
that
slip
is
into your
something that we'll go into later. So anyway, I'm going to wrap this up just for a moment. And Bobette, we're going to talk in about a couple of minutes about the more steamy side of your things. So thanks again, Bobette, for joining us and talking about romance writing and all the wonderful things about that genre. Is there any last kind of words of wisdom that you'd like to share with the viewers talking about the genre?
Just don't be afraid of it. Don't be afraid of it. Read a few books and decide how what inspires you or what, you like about the writing and everything in that, and just sit down and go for it.
Nice. Nice. Well, I know that really, that was your inspiration and my inspiration when actually it's kind of ironic or funny that coincidental, that you and I both were turned on to the genre from the exact same book, which is just
I know.
wild.
She was the queen, boy. She's the queen. She's dead now,
Oh,
but
well,
she did die. My hero.
she wrote a lot of good books. A lot of good
Shanna
books.
was one of the good ones too. They were all good, all of them. So, anyways, that is great. I can't believe that.
Well, it was a lot of fun. So thank you so much for joining
Thank
us.
you.
And we will look forward to talking with you again very soon, maybe perhaps about another topic.
I hope so.
Okay, well, we'll see you. See you.
Bye.
Okay,
See
bye-bye.
you.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye-bye.